Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from True Off My Chest. Our first post is by Throwaway. I broke my wife and I don't think it is fixable. This happened 6 months ago. And I only chose to talk now because I don't see improvement in sight and I am hopeless. We were at a party. My friend is single and we started talking about love and relationships. My wife and I have been happily married for 7 years. We have 3 beautiful children. She is the love of my life. When I was talking to my friend, I felt like we were on different levels of thinking. His complaints are mostly superficial about how the people he dated looked. I was a bit drunk at that point and said something like, "You don't fall in love with looks. Look at me and my wife. I love her more than anything compared to my ex who was just looks." Everyone went silent and my damage control was worse, so I ended up shutting the hell up. I couldn't get my point across, but even I thought that maybe these thoughts have been in my head but only came out when I was drunk. My wife was shocked. First week she was so angry and wanted to understand what I meant, and nothing I said was good enough. I was drunk. I love her. I think she's the most beautiful woman. She thought being drunk made me say my true feelings. Then one morning she just said, "You know, I have never felt as ugly as I have felt this past week. I have always thought I am beautiful." She didn't cry this time, but she hasn't been happy since. I started crying and apologizing, but she was like emotionless. It was the last time she looked at me too. She is taciturn and distant, but only with me. She has lost 20 pounds and she works out 6 to 7 days a week. She never has free time with me. If she's not with the children or her family and friends, she's immersed in some book or has her headphones on. She's always fully clothed now, even in bed. She locks the bathroom door when she takes a shower. She is more active on social media too. She shares many pictures of her. And she thanks everyone who gives her a compliment. Before it was just pictures with our children and pets, but now it's her, working out in sports bras and tights. I broke her and I don't know how to fix it. Update: we have been going to counseling and my wife at first has been very reluctant to open up and wanted to pretend that everything was fine. One session she just asked me, "I want the truth, here and now, no sugarcoating, and do not try to spare my feelings. Did you find me attractive when we met?" I really didn't know what to say to this. I love her more than anything, even more than my children and myself. I think that she's the most beautiful woman I know, but did I immediately think that when I met her? No, I didn't really find her attractive. We all grow up having a type. I remember thinking that she wasn't exactly my type, but she was so lovable and sweet. It didn't take me long to fall for her, and now I find women who look like her attractive, so I guess type is something very superficial and fleeting. I told her the truth. She cried and said that she herself didn't know why she was so hurt and crying. She knew that there were more beautiful women. She never wanted to be the most beautiful woman either, but that she always been considered beautiful by other people, which is true, and always got attention. But the fact that the one person she wanted to be found the most beautiful girl in the world by didn't think that, and that's what made her sad. The man she loved way before we even started dating. This was on our latest session, and it was the most draining experience. Later when we got home, she apologized for making a big deal out of something this trivial, but that she just couldn't help it, and she was as confused to why it affected her so badly. On Saturday, she told me that she didn't want to stay in our marriage, that something broke inside of her. She asked me if I would try to hurt her and the children if we did separate, if I would use them to get back at her, alienate her because she chose to leave. I promised her that none of this would happen and that I loved her and wanted her to be happy even if it wasn't with me. Our families are in uproar over this. Mostly they're angry with her, that she let her insecurities get the best and worst of her. But I don't think it is insecurity, to be honest. She has never cared about people's attention. She just realized that the only person whose approval she cared about didn't give her. At least that he had to learn it, and that wasn't enough. Our next post is by the unknown factor. I got replaced by a much younger model. Not sure what to do, shaking. I met my ex-husband, do I even call him that? Almost 25 years ago. We were both developers at Borland. It was the classic love story, and needless to say, I was swept off my feet. By the time I was 22, we agreed to get married and agreed that I should stay at home, which is what we both wanted. There's so much to say here, and I feel like I am not really doing all of it justice. But the long of the short of it was that he started working at startups. He was gone. A lot. We did not yet have the money for extra help, so I was often left with the kids for 2 or 3 weeks on end. I have seen housewife influencer type videos on Instagram. And I just want to put a warning out there to young women that for most of us, it is nothing like that. I was sweating and covered in dirt or vomit or piss most days when they were young. And when they were older, it was always being the mean parent, etc. That's besides the point. The kids went off to college, and the company that my husband was the SVP at IPO'd. Basically, for those not in the tech business world, we got a lot of money that we did not have before. Still, he didn't seem attracted to me anymore. I tried everything, working out twice a day, eating better, spontaneous sex. He rejected all of it. About a year ago, he filed for separation. The separation was mostly amicable, and I assumed we had drifted apart, even though it cut deep to let go of 25 years. But I figured if the man I loved needed some space, then it would do us both some good. He bought a condo in New York City. Our daughter is graduating from college in May, and I got an e-invite to a party my husband was having. My son must have seen me on the RSVP list and called me, basically told me not to go, and that Dad was seeing someone, but I stupidly decided to go anyways. The condo he said he bought was actually more like a penthouse. I get there a little late and there are already 20 to 30 people there, including this gorgeous woman who stands on a chair and starts talking about how proud she is of my daughter and how happy she is that she exists in her life. Then she makes eye contact with me and climbs down. "Hi Op, I am so sorry, I didn't know you would be here. It's so good to meet you. I had no clue who this woman is. How did she know my name?" Then it clicked. Or she fed it to me. "My name is Elizabeth. I'm husband's girlfriend." My eyes lock in on your collarbone where she is wearing his wedding ring and his mother's engagement ring around her neck. The same ring he said he would give me one day. I must have been white as a ghost. I must have asked how old she was because she laughed and said, "Oh, I am 27. My son is 26. My husband and I are both in our young 50s. I tried to make small talk. I learned she is getting her PhD in neuro and asked what I do. I can't even remember what I said. I found a way around the question. It felt like everyone at the party was talking about her, including my husband. "This food is amazing. I know. She trained at Le Cordon Bleu. Most painfully, I swear I heard someone say, he seems so much happier now. They are such a better match. She can keep up with him." I felt crushed. I thought about how much I gave up to stay at home for him, to be devoted to him. As I watched her later put her arm around him and whisper something in his ear, I almost threw up and I left. I don't even think anyone noticed I was gone. My friends say that the only reason he hasn't filed for divorce is so that he does not need to give me half, because we live in a community property state. Some of them say that he has talked about tying things up in trusts before filing right in front of them. I know I should pull the trigger on the divorce, but part of me feels like this is just a midlife for him, and that he will come back to me in our home. Maybe I am just in denial. I have come here, Reddit, for support before, but now I just need to vent. Note to all you young, bright-eyed 20-somethings, the housewife life isn't always glamorous. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.